Now then, folks, it's time for cheer. Danny, Sophie, and the whole gang's here.
So sorry to realise I balanced your tripod
Sorry.
on your slipper.
Oh, no.
This is it. We try not to do much editing. So Sophie's balanced the tripod on his slipper. I don't even know if he introduced who he was, Sophie.
It don't matter.
Peter Wright, Texas
She's
Shoes.
Yorkshire Vet.
And we met
Balancing-
Peter Wright at the Great Yorkshire Show.
Yeah, balancing it on
With
his
Christine
slipper.
Talbot.
So she's going to put it on my
I
foot.
know. Oh, God. I'll probably be twitching about as well.
As I said to you, right, we don't do things professionally, we just like to be normal, and there's no more normal than Sophie just putting something on somebody's foot and walking off.
Well, the thing is though, Danny, because we're from Yorkshire, some people wouldn't consider us to be normal. And would you want to be normal
No.
and run of the mill? You
No,
wouldn't, would you?
not at all.
No.
I've had this conversation with, so obviously with my job, I'm travelling up and down the country,
Yeah.
trying takeaways, but what I like about it most is that I get to meet people
Yes.
from all different backgrounds, all different cultures, and I have, and I'm not just being biased here, right? Because we're Yorkshire folk, but we are the most chatty and pleasant people in the country, right? Second to, I would say, I found when I go up Scotland,
Yeah.
right? They're chatty. The further down south I go, they tend not to speak to you. They're just rushing around. It's like the world is going to end in about three seconds if they don't get from one door to another. If they talk to somebody, they're wasting time, which is stupid. But
You know,
Yorkshire,
I agree. I went to a mate's 60th birthday down in Surrey,
Right.
Stockbroker Belt. Very, very hoity-toity. And we got there, and we're a bit late in getting there because I got into that M25.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that is like a death trap.
Yeah.
And you get on it, and you think, I'll never get to feel alive. Anyway, we did do. And I was a bit late in getting to my mates. And they had it was a lovely summer's day, and they had everything set out in these big plush grounds, you know,
Yeah.
because just how they are down there. But anyway, and there was very few tables left. And myself and my wife and this other couple from Yorkshire, and I heard somebody say, oh, those northerners are here now. There's some place on there. There's some more northerners on that table there. They can maybe go and sit with them. They'll have a lot in common. I took an instant dislike to those people,
Yeah.
you know. But they've no conversation about them, as you say.
Well, I'm going to say, so did you go and sit on the table with the Northerners? And I bet if you did, you lot were talking, but everybody else were just, oh, you know.
I'll tell you what, we had a right laugh.
Yes, a right laugh.
And we weren't laughing with the Southerners, we were laughing at them. Well, I'll tell you something else as well, and I'm turning into my old man. My old man was a typical Yorkshireman.
Right.
And he could talk for England. And when he retired, he moved into a little village just outside Thirsk. And he used to say, Jane, I'm just taking dog out for 10 minutes. 3.5 hours later, he'll come back. Well, he said, I bumped into a couple of folks, and he said, bah, he said they were interesting.
Yeah.
And he said, I couldn't get away. I think, no, it was the fact that they wouldn't be able to get away from you.
Do you know what? I'm like that. I can leave the house and I'll say to Sophie, I'm going out, love. I'll be about an hour. And then I'll come back 3 or 4 hours later. I'll be messaging on my phone, are you okay? It's not that she's like tracking me down. It's the fact that she's worried because she's thinking, what's happened to him? And I did it, and it happened yesterday. So I went out and I worked yesterday, and I said to her, I'm going to nip in. My friend were doing one of these business talks, and I said, I'll go along and support. And I said, I'll only be an hour. And this were at 3 o'clock. And I think I got in just before 8. And it was because I got there and I watched what were going on, and then there were about 30 people that I was talking to that I found interesting. And I was talking, and that's the thing sometimes,
Well,
because you just need to talk, don't you?
Well, it just happens somehow.
Yeah.
But I know Lynn broke her ankle and her wrist last year, and I had to do all sorts of things like cooking and caring, and I wasn't very good. But I had to go to the supermarket to get some food. Well, I remember going one Saturday afternoon into the supermarket, and I didn't want many things, and I thought, I don't need a trolley, I'll just have a basket.
Yeah.
Anyway, I started to go around at 2 o'clock, and I got about 4 things in. I kept bumping into one old mate, and then another. It was 5 o'clock when I left, and I only had 6 things in my basket.
Do you know what? So I used to go. So before I started doing the YouTube, I used to go to Tasda, And it used to take me, well, probably, I'd say to do a full shot, probably about 40 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
I go now and it can take upwards of 3 hours. Because people that are coming up, hey, up, I've seen you on this, I've seen you on that. But the thing is with me, I like to talk. So like even when me and Sophie have been out and having a meal, if somebody says, oh, can I have a photo or a chat or something?
Yeah.
She's on her own. By the time I get back, she's into dessert because I'm going to go talk to these guys, and that's it. But obviously, we've come here today. I'm going to go into Thirsk with Sophie.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of digging. Like you said, I do takeaways, but I don't want to take away today.
Right.
I want to go for some nice food. So, have you got any recommendations for in Thirsk of where to go?
Well, it depends what you like. If you like mate,
Yeah.
then there's a Turkish place, and I think it's called Sheesh and Grill and Sheesh, something like that.
Right.
I think that's what it's called. I think you'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
Good quality meat, really good quality stuff. The place called Bianco's, which is a pizza and Italian place. That's
Right.
good. We like it there. Good value, good quality stuff. And of course we've got fish and chips in Thirsk, and there's one in the middle there, White Horse Cafe. We regularly frequent there.
Can I ask you a question about fish and chips? Right, because I love fish and chips.
I do.
And, you know, it is the staple British dish. Fish and chips,
Yeah.
or pie and chips
Yeah.
is what you want,
Yeah.
you know. But I love my fish and chips when they're cooked in beef dripping.
So do I.
Oh, thank God. Because
Yes.
there's nothing better than fish and chips. But he's licking his lips
Making
now.
me off water
He's
now.
thinking, it's coming up to lunchtime. I need some fish and chips. But yeah, so one question I've got for you, right? Obviously, you've been a vet, you're still a vet, but then you made that transition to a little bit of TV. How did you find that? What was it like, first of all, when you got approached and people said, would you do this?
Well, I nearly didn't do it, as I've explained at great lengths to some. I nearly didn't do it because my old boss was very suspicious about the media. But, you know, when we did start to do it, and my missus is my worst critic. Yeah. She's terrible.
I've got that.
Have you? Well, these are crosses we have to bear, aren't they?
Definitely.
But, you know, when we'd made it, and we sort of on our second or third series, and I thought it all looked all right. Do you know what she said to me? You were very wooden when you first started, weren't you? Well, I didn't think I was. I thought I was doing all right. I mean, if she'd said that when we did the pilot series, I probably wouldn't have done any more. I'd have been so mortally offended and upset. I don't think you could have continued.
I'm not doing that.
See, the thing is, you can get all your Royal Television Society awards and your YouTube accolades and all that, but when it comes to your wife's approval, that's a whole lovely ball game.
That's something different.
We see the whole picture.
Yeah.
Well,
so what about then? So
yeah,
when you've done that, and obviously you've done the programme, and then you've been on a lot of like chat shows and stuff like that to talk about things.
Yeah.
So obviously people around Thirsk and around the area, you'll be well known anyway for being a vet, because obviously it's countryside, there's a lot of wildlife animals, and that's what you do. But what about when you've gone further afield? I don't know, if you've visited Manchester or you've been shopping, and people then have approached you and they've gone, oh, hey, look, that guy. How did you find that when that first happened?
Well, when I go over the Pennines,
yeah,
you know, sometimes I say, oh, it's from Yorkshire. Oh, it's from. I said, look, you're from other side, but I said I won't hold it against you. You all have crosses to bear, and I understand that. Yeah. But I said, get yourself to God's own country. I said, then you'll understand what you're missing.
Definitely. And I mean, just sitting here looking out on this view. Obviously, Sophie, she come and we're in an interview with her first time sat in car. And when we got here, there was quite a bit of mist over there. And do you know what? It was so nice watching it clear and just watching the countryside just open up.
Well, you know, during COVID, everybody was all gloom and doom, and that's when the working from home started, isn't it? And during COVID, I was out walking in the woods out there, and I bumped into God. And I said to God, what are you doing here? He said, I'm working from home.
Oh, I love that. So talking about that, because this is just something that's just popped in, I'm quite curious to know. So obviously with COVID, everybody's locked in, locked down. But I would presume, were you able to work? I would think you would.
We were allowed to work normally on the farm side. They were classed as key workers on the farm side.
Yeah.
So if you have an emergency on a farm, a vet had to go.
Yeah.
I mean, the beauty of that is you're working pretty much outside. You're working in buildings, so you weren't in close proximity to people that might have the bug on them.
Yeah.
And I never thought about it. To be honest, we just worked as normal. On the dog and cat side, that was somewhat different, and people were not allowed to go into the practice. So you'd have to stand in the car park, have a chat about what was the matter with the pets. You would take them in and maybe carry out further investigations or treat them, and then come back to the car park and hand them back. What was very hard at that time, Danny, what was really hard was when an animal came in to be put to sleep.
Yeah.
And you had to take them from them in the car park and go into the practice to put them, and that was horrible.
Yeah.
That was really horrible.
Because you know what, I think that was possibly something that people overlooked in COVID.
Yes.
That because everybody was at home, because obviously it caused a lot of issues around the world. People were, one, not working, therefore not having an income. Some people lost their job because the companies went belly up through COVID.
Yeah.
And that caused a lot of things. That then causes worry, mental health. But then I thought myself, well, what about pets? What about the animals? And that's it. And like you say, that must have been so bad, because I do know, because it happened to a friend of mine. Yeah. And they had the same thing, and they were distraught enough that the dog had to be put down.
Yes.
But the fact that they couldn't go in and be there.
Yes.
But obviously, thankfully, there's people like you, that are able to offer that little bit of comfort, and it's just terrible.
But there's something else as well, though, Danny, with all that. Yes, when it came to put them to sleep, it was awful. But there were so many people felt isolated and desperate, really, for company. But those that had pets, a number of people that said to me, it was the pets that got them through it. Yeah. And that's the power of animals. Yes. That's what animals do for us.
Yeah, they do. And obviously people that, you don't even have to be somebody that's single. Even as a family. Kids like with our little one there, we've got Darcy, a little French bulldog, and she'll go home today and she'll sit there and she's going, and I think, oh, no, you've been a bit rough with dog, but the dog's playing away. And she knows if I went and did that to her here, she'd be having a night go at me. Yes. But with her, it's different, and it's weird, isn't it? How animals, people, you just look at a sheep, you look at a horse, a cow, a dog, a cat. And some people, you don't realise actually how intelligent they are, how loving and caring they are towards people.
Dan, it's funny you should say that. And I've said this on many, many occasions. I see a lot of daft folks. I don't see any daft animals.
Exactly. That is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think, and I'd just like you to teach Peter some of your catchphrases.
So, on my catchphrases, I go, "Now then, guys, how you doing? Back on the road again." So can you have a go at that? So now guys.
No guys, how you doing? Back on the road again.
Yeah, I even got full. I was saying to Peter earlier night that when I first started and people were coming for photos, I soon realised that we'd stand there, and if I stuck my thumb up, they would stick their thumb up. And I spoke to him about that, and then he's just gone back on the road again. So it worked.
I'm getting the hang of it now. Yeah, I'm getting the measure of you.
When I get out my car, I'll go, put Tom Knacker Cracker away. Now, you know what that is, because I said that and he knew, but some people, even some Yorkshire, they were like, well, what's that mean? What's that about?
Knacker Cracker.
Yeah. So Knacker Cracker, yeah.
Well, it's also known as Bike Park as well, indeed.
Well, that's it. But no, thank you very much for letting us come along today. And
It's been a great pleasure.
You know what? It's been great, and you're such a nice, humbling guy. And I love it because, one, fellow Yorkshireman, talking about, like you say, God's own country. I love that, what you said about his working from home. That just did me that. I thought that was absolutely class. But also, I love what you do, and I love your personality. When people are watching you on telly, I can see why they love you. And when I come to Great Yorkshire Show and I saw you being interviewed, and I was listening to the chatter of people around before you come on stage, because I do that, I like to listen to what people think. And there were people that had just specifically come just to see you and hear that, and that's amazing because you're able to give a little bit back what you do in your normal job. It's been put on TV and gives people that little bit of comfort. So, yeah.
Well, I am a people person, Danny. You know, I'm not one to hide behind technology. I know technology is part of your world, and I admire what you do. But I'm a people person, and I've enjoyed that. I always enjoyed that bit of banter.
Yeah. She doesn't, not today.
Have you had enough from that?
She wants to
I've got
run it
no
out.
context to why you're here is
Oh,
Ah.
I'm saying a nasty man.
Oh.
No. Oh dear.
No. Oh yeah, or babies or lambs easier to deal with, would you say?
Oh, lambs every time.
Lambs every time.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
that's what you will trade you in at the last.
Thank you very much.
You're
It's been
welcome.
an absolute pleasure.
You're very welcome.
From hearty laughs to family hugs, they're Yorkshire's best with endless love. Mr. and Mrs. Yorkshire, what a team. Blending love, kids, and living the dream. Big hearts, big smiles every day. The Yorkshire way, come what may. Mr. and Mrs. Yorkshire, what a team. Blending love, kids, and living the dream. Big hearts, big smiles every day. The Yorkshire way, come what may.
Sliding Yorkshire haven't gone the best of lives. Following hard to the shredder, they got it Yorkshire. Really Yorkshire, what a better Yorkshire. Last verse. We touch on these gems and relish in new bread with us, and to see them become wise and constant policy of a really